All right, guys, morning. Week off's been great. Bye week's been a good opportunity for us to get some players some much-needed treatment and rest, which was good for us. We were able to get a head start, which was good for us. We're heading into, obviously, Syracuse week here, and, they had a fine game against Virginia Tech. Thought they, played at a high level, and just another reminder that every week in college football, man, you got to show up and you got to bring your A game. And that's just the way it is. And I thought Syracuse brought their A game, and they played well on both sides of the ball. I thought they competed at a high level and outcompeted their opponent in that football game. Offensively, I think the quarterback, Eric Dungy, is a really good football player. I've thought that for 2 years now. He's a playmaker. He's a baller. He makes that team go. Whether it's with his feet or with his arm. I think Strickland, the running back, is a very talented guy. I think they got a really good core of receivers out there. So they're matched up to their skill set right now. They got a quarterback that can move around and throws the ball really well and runs it. And they got some receivers, that can go up and grab the ball for them. So I think that's matched up, and I think they're talented. Passing-wise, they're ninth in the country at 346 yards per game. Rushing-wise, they're 109th in the country. On defense, I really thought that's where I saw them really improve and play really well on defense. Statistically, they're 113th in total defense and 93 against the run and 111th against the pass. But I thought they played an outstanding football team and shut them down, and that's what matters. Zaire Franklin, a middle linebacker, I've known him since I was at Temple. I thought he was a real talented player then. He's extremely talented. He's one of their better players on defense. I think the nose guard, Steve Clark, I think it is outstanding. So they've got some real good players there. I thought they played really, really well Saturday in the Dome. So they pose a lot of challenges. They have good skill players. They're playing at an emotional high level right now. We're very well aware of that and know how tough this game will be on any front, just by the mere fact that it's Boston College and Syracuse, and those games are always really tough and always seem to come down to the wire. We're fortunate and excited about the fact that we have them here at home, and we're looking forward to a continuation of a great preparation and a great week. Okay, any questions?
Coming off the bye, was that good for everybody? Just kind of like to deal with any bumps and bruises or nicks up, and how's it?
Yeah, it was great. Honestly, if we had to play last week, it would have been really problematic. But we've got a bunch of guys that hopefully we'll have all back here, and for Syracuse, which is a good thing. We played the last game without our starting left tackle and our starting center after quarter one, so we're able to get them both back, and that in itself is certainly a good thing. Well, they got banged up, Aaron got hurt during a week in practice and tweaked his knee, and John tweaked his ankle, but they're back and they're ready to roll.
When you look at a team like Syracuse and what they did to Virginia Tech, and you're going to have mutual opponents, but that's one of them. Are there things you can glean from what Syracuse was able to do against Tech and what they did well, and how you handle them going forward?
Yeah, I think Syracuse did what they did. They're kind of who they are, and I thought they played really hard and they really battled, and it looked like to me that they just, went after the game. It was their, you got to show up every Saturday. You got to go. You can't just come up and think that, you're going to show up somewhere and it's just going to happen. Syracuse came in there with a mindset. It was at home in the Dome. I've been in that place many a times. And as that game went on and they realized, hey, we got this thing, we got a great opportunity here. They just kept playing harder and harder and harder, and the other team wasn't able to respond. And it's a reminder that on any given Saturday when you go in, you got to be ready to roll. College football, man, it's funny how that thing can go. And you go on the road like that, you go up to that place on the road, that's a hard place to play on the road. It really is. It's different. It's a different feel, a different vibe. It is. And I've seen it happen before, several times before up there. So, again, I thought Syracuse played really, really well. They had an opportunity. They seized it. They out-competed them on both sides and had a higher energy level, plain and simple.
Steve, that kind of looks like your situation now. This is where the second half has to begin. It's almost like a must-win situation for you.
Rich, they're all must-wins. They really are. I mean, nowadays, every game has got so much importance. I literally look at it like every week, like, you go everything you have every week. I don't really look at it like much different than that. This is a big game because it's the one that we're playing. And it's Syracuse, and that's a Northeast natural rival game for us. And they're big. I focus a lot more on where we need to improve, where we need to get better, where our mistakes were, how do we correct those mistakes. I'm constantly interested in the development of our team. And sometimes, it's easy to see. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's reflective in whatever stats. Sometimes it's not. But I want to see the team continue to develop and get better. They're all important, as you mentioned. As you start to go in the back half of the season, I mean, you only got so many shots left. I mean, it's just a simple fact of what it is. We played some pretty good teams, and we'll continue to do that. I mean, it's not going away. I mean, the facts are that we've got 6 games ahead of us, and they're all tough, every one of them.
You touched on this last time, but just talk about the significance of Tyler Rouse's in the punt return game.
Yeah.
He tops the ACC right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think Tyler's done a great job there, and he's done a great job everywhere, really, to tell you the truth. He's just a highly accountable guy. You give him a job to do, he does that job exactly the way you want it done. And, I know this game has always got special importance to him, being from Syracuse, and, he's really intently focused on Saturday, but would love nothing more than try to get him loose in that punt return game.
Steve, there are 4 new coaches in the league, and a couple questions. First of all, is there anything more challenging preparing for a new coach, or is at this point in the season, do you have enough to go on? And then the other question is, does that, when there's kind of an influx of new coaching ideas and talent, and does that change the character of the league at all? Have you seen kind of new things going on in the league that weren't ACC-ish?
Not really. I'm a big believer that always have been that the ACC's got good players, okay, and it's a player-driven game, and they got good players, and I think the key is trying to get your players to match up to what their skill sets are. I think it's critically important. I think we've got really good coaches in the ACC. I think the ACC right now is the most dominant conference in the country, and I stand by that statement. I think that we've got a lot of teams on the top that are just athletic and fast and can play with anybody, and that's what I see. So I think, is it hard? I think you asked me about new coaches, new schemes. I think at this point in time, you've had a chance to. I mean, nothing's that new. I mean, like I watch what Clemson does. I mean, those things we were doing at Florida years ago. I mean, I think they're just doing it really well, and I think they have an outstanding. I think their staff is great. I love Dabo. I think what he's doing is fantastic, and they got really good players, and that quarterback's really talented, and those quarterbacks drive a lot. It's like a couple years ago we had Murphy. He was really talented runner. I mean, we were a really good running team, one of the better running teams in the country. But he was just super talented. He was a game changer. He was a game breaker, an eraser, if you will. The year before that, we had Andre. He was an eraser. And a lot of these teams have some erasers. I think Syracuse has an eraser in their wide receiver. I mean, he's an eraser guy. When the ball's up in the air, he's up vertical. He's getting the ball. I mean, throwing a ball vertically down the field is throwing a ball vertically down the field. You got to have a quarterback that can make that throw, and they do, and a receiver that can go up and will take that ball out of the sky. I think when you watch us against Clemson a couple weeks ago, I mean, they connected on one play. I don't know what to say. It was a perfect throw and a perfect catch, diving, outstretched. I mean, you got to appreciate that for what that is. That's 2 players just making a great play. 2 veteran guys, 2 big-time guys. So I think by this time, scheme-wise, you have enough film and you can see but you got to stop it. And some guys are really hard to stop. It's not so much that you don't know what's coming. It's stopping it and trying to make enough decisions to make that happen. you know. And you just got to play hard. And, you know, Virginia Tech has some highly skilled guys out there, but it just wasn't happening, you know. But you have those days. Those days occur. And then those days occur where teams are playing lights out. You know, you get them on both ends. So I think the key right now is we know exactly, you know, I don't think there's any great mysteries about what Syracuse is doing, but defending it is another thing. They're going to go fast, they're going to go tempo, and they're going to lay that ball up there. And we're going to be up in the air, and they're going to be up in the air. And we're either going to come down with it, they are, or it's going to get deflected, right? One of those things is going to happen. But it won't be a mystery that it's going to be vertical in the air on us. That's going to happen. We got to go make the play. You know, and make and change up what we're doing, play some zone, play some man, do some different things. So it just comes down to, you know, it's a player's game, and you know, and I believe it's a quarterback game. You know, I believe that. And you look around college football, and you know, quarterback playing at a high level, teams playing at a high level. You know, there's a lot to it. You know, and so. Seen it all on all fronts.
Coach, on the same lines of mixing it up, you
Yeah.
know, the first 2 times around against strong-armed ACC quarterbacks like Gerard Evans and Sean Watson, you know, the secondary sort of had its struggles. Defensive line still able to get to the quarterback, but do you see any changes in personnel or strategy coming when you're going up against another one of these big quarterbacks?
I mean, we mixed it on both. We mixed it up. You know, we played a mixture of man and zone. I mean, it's kind of interesting in the game. You know, we played man on the big throw and catch to Clemson, and we played zone on another one. I mean, I think you mix it up. I think, you know, like I said, we've been out of position a couple times, but not a lot. You know, I've seen a lot of catches go up there where we're right where we need to be. Now we got to make the play. You know, we make it or they make it. That's the nature of that beast a little bit, you know. But, you know, I'd say there's no question that we've had some hot hands against us, you know. You know, we played Clemson, and, you know, they turned it over 5 times before our game, and then the game after they turned it over 4 times. But in our game, not so much. So I think we get we've gotten people's great shots, which is great. That's what it is, and we just got to go make the plays when they're available. Simple as that.
This is off topic, but Connor Strahan.
Yep.
Pretty straightforward guy. Like, he doesn't seem like, you know, he's.
Mm-hmm.
But as a person, what have you learned about him since in his time here, not just on the field but off the field? And
Well, I think he's a bright guy. Loves football. Very, very competitive. Very competitive. It's been a tough year for him this year. He's been nicked up. He hasn't really had a chance to. I don't think he's practiced a full week since Ireland. So, you know, he's been dealing with different shoulder deals, and he's been out every week since Ireland. So, you know, he's able to rally back for the games, but he's been dinged up pretty good. But he keeps rolling, you know, and he's a tough kid. He's a tough kid, but he loves football.
the second one, you mentioned this too. You know, there's a certain number of games left, like the games are what they're going to be. Is there mountain pressure at all to get the one ACC win or the first ACC win? Or
Just mountain pressure to win Saturday. You know, every game has got unbelievable importance level. As I said, and that's not cliche-ish. That just is what it is. I mean, I don't care who you're playing. It didn't matter who we were playing. Every week, it's like it's all your focus. Right now, all my focus is just on playing and beating Syracuse, and I don't really look into anything beyond that, around it, or behind it. It's just let's get a great plan together. Let's go play as fast and as hard as we can, and let's go beat Syracuse. That's our goal. And that's the way I think every coach in the country approaches it, really. I don't think it's any different. I think if you start jumping around, it just isn't productive, you know. I've never been around anything any different than that. I've never seen or heard anything different than that, ever. I think the minute you do that, you run amok. You know, all of a sudden you walk into a game and guys are going through the motions and not playing real hard because they're maybe worrying about the next game or something. And, you know, that's hard. You know, that happens because, you know, it's human nature. And you can't let it. You know, you just got to go about your business, and that's why coaches, I think, like routine.
do you have to make sure the players have to do the same thing too?
Yeah.
They can get distracted.
Oh, there's no question.
They can feel the monkey on the back the same way everybody else can.
Well, I just think it's human nature. You know, human nature is what we're talking about. You know, when it's really good, you think you're really good, and if it's not going good, you think you're not. And it's just, it's, you know, it is what it is, man. Go practice, go as hard as you can, watch the tape, believe what you see. You know, what you're seeing on the tape is usually what is, you know, and just continue to go after each game 1 week at a time. And that's the only thing you can do. That has to be that way, because otherwise, if you don't keep that focus and keep that routine, outside forces, you know, human nature starts to happen. I mean, it's kind of like, you know, it's like I remember we beat USC here a couple of years ago. You could just see it, you know, all week long, everybody patting everybody on the back, bup, 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 bup. You just knew it. You know, it's going to be really hard to get them to come out the next week. I think we were playing Maine or something the next week, if I remember correctly. And it was going to be really hard because, you know, human nature sets in. So you're fighting all week to fight that off, you know. So it can be on a positive side or a negative side, you know. And, you know, you talk about it, you address it, you go after it, and that's what you do. That's it.